every time that you sit down at the desk, every time that your fingers punch one of those keys, it is making some kind of cent or dollar so it can pay off a bloody bill. That is who I'm speaking to. So I wanted to do a video about why I chose to leave the United States, to house hop essentially around the world. The ones who have done it, we all say the same thing. I know we all say the same thing because of YouTube. Every time I see another traveler video, somewhere in that video, they will say, this is feeding to you a lie, this 9 to 5 job, life, hustle, it is just such a lie. And I can echo that. I have now been solo traveling for 20 years. I started when I was 19. It's a hard mindset to understand unless you actually try to just go for it and do it. I love having the freedom to get up and see something that is completely different. It makes me so curious about life. Curiosity keeps me alive. Otherwise, I'd just be so depressed and upset all the time, like I was in the US, trying to figure out what it was that I wanted to see happen in my career. I was rising on that career ladder. Baby, I was rising on that career ladder. I was just going for it. Until COVID hit and I was living in Paris, learning French for my career ladder, and then realized it's just not for me. I think it was then at that time that I realized I can do what I really want to do if I'm not at the UN. Like, if I'm not in the United Nations, I can actually have the time to do real humanitarian work. What kind of irony is that? And it started, in some ways, this pivot to living full-time around the world instead of full-time behind a desk inside of the US. The thing that's really interesting when it comes to living outside of the US, depending on where you choose to live, is that the American dollar is quite strong in other countries. So if you want the Western travel itinerary where you're in Italy and Paris and even where I am right now in Amsterdam and, you know, all these heavy economies, you're going to drain up that dollar quick. But if you choose to do like the lesser known paths, a lot of times it gets exoticized, like going to Malaysia or head down south somewhere in South America. The thing that's quite interesting if you strategize properly is that the American dollar takes you a very long way. If you've seen any of my videos by now, you know that I spent around 150 or less a month on food. I'm like, that's a religious doctrine for me. So in a place like Egypt, when I was living there, it wasn't even coming close to that, honey. Like, it was just, it was very easy to eat healthy and have a healthier life with just kibbles. The American dollar takes you far. I saved up to figure out how to write some books, which eventually led to my own business. And I'm so far not regretting it. So if I save what I make with a strategy on spending, I can have a very, not just happy life, a healthy one. I definitely did not have happiness in the US. I did not find healthy lifestyle choices in the US. I did not have a healthy life there. From relationships to family issues and the job, it was not a healthy life. I would have been buried. I think a kindness would have been up to 60, but most likely I would have been buried in my 50s if I had even gotten there. It's not a healthy life. I think if you've buried people before, I think I've buried quite a few people now who I loved. If you see that from a young age to 40, it's like, ooh, do you want your life to be written in stone that you spent the majority of it at a 9 to 5? And in my field, in international affairs, foreign affairs, it's not 9 to 5. You are not in a 9 to 5 job. That job is around the clock. I had to really ask myself, if I were to exit out like my friend did here, like this person did here, if the time was up, is that what I want to be thinking in my final moments? That was it. I just spent my life behind a desk, and I empathize with those who cannot leave or they do not know how. I've been there. That's what I want to share. I want to share how you can leave. You have to figure out what it is that you want to spend that money on. What are you working for? What is that money going for? I mean, if it's to go out and get drunk and beer and wine and clubs and movies, and I mean, I'm hesitating because I don't even know what it is. I just know people spend wastefully. If that's it, if your dollars are going to the life that you're trying to have at night, because you spend the majority of your day behind a desk. So just shelling out the cash, you're just shelling out money just to feel appreciated because you're not getting that at your job. Of course, I understand that. Jesus. If that's what you want, then maybe you should stay behind the desk. That was not what I wanted. I did not want, forget wanted. That was not what I could do. This is for the ones who know they can't even do that. Every single dime is going to an actual need, an expenditure, and a bill that needs to be paid. Every dime of it, every dime, every time that you sit down at the desk, every time that your fingers punch one of those keys, it is making some kind of cent or dollar so it can pay off a bloody bill. That is who I'm speaking to. And you feel trapped. I was there. God, I was there. When my doctors thought that I was ill, that was enough to put me into perspective of you've got to get out of this because you're going to end up the way of all these other people who you've now buried. And they didn't even get a chance to enjoy their retirement doing X, Y, or Z. You've got to change the life. You have to change your life. That's what I told myself. That's what I'm telling you now. How do you have a life where you get to house hop around the world? For me, it was through this app called Trusted Housesitters. I will forever rep for them. I don't even know I'm doing this. I should really get affiliating marketing because I will always rep for them. This thing has saved my life. That's how I chose to do it. There are other people who choose to do something like they teach English, they teach their language to move around the world. Um, you have some that get lucky and they have consulting jobs and they get hired to do different jobs around the world, that type of thing. But I wanted to be my own boss. That's how I've been doing it for the last year and 3 months now. It has given me the time and space to launch my business online or write my books, which are now on my business, my online business. There are so many different ways to quit the 9 to 5. The thing is that it's scary. It is a very scary thing to do, especially if you don't have a financial safety net built underneath you. I didn't have that. There was and have never been any mother, father, sister, brother, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa taking care of any of my bills in my life. There's never been that. And there are some people who have that who also say things like, oh, quit your 9 to 5 and do whatever. That's the ones that I was saying where I was like, well, of course, because if anything happens, you can just ask someone for financial help. For those who don't have it, I am here to tell you it is still possible. Budget down like a budget boss. I am on this journey of building my own small business. I'm working these 12 to 18-hour days, 7 days a week. I mean, I was getting white hair. Like, I did not even realize how much that had taken a toll on me to launch the website for my business. With all that time and all that physical strain I was putting my body in, I loved it. Everything that I had learned or had been doing at these jobs that I hated, I was doing it for my own online business so that I could have the return come to me and not some boss or company or organization who doesn't give a crap about you, doesn't give a crap about me. Now that's mine. The pride that I have in what I've created is so powerful. It is holding me on to the belief that I can be successful. Even saying it now, I understand why people are like, you have to believe. I'm in this state now where I'm waking up with the belief that I can do it. Like, I can do it. This morning I listened to once again one of my favorite gospel songs called I Win. And that's how I started my morning. I really want to win. I will do whatever it takes to never see myself behind a desk that I don't own, that is owned to a company or an organization. Maybe that's a better way of saying it. I will do whatever it takes to ensure I never see that side of my life ever again. I will live on kibbles. I will cut my grocery bill down another third, if even possible. I will just live on oats and fruits. Right now it's oats, fruits, and meat, but I will take out the meat if I have to. So how am I doing now? I wake up in the morning from 5 in the morning to about 8. 8 is quite late. And I get my day started. My day can start with something like anything administrative and then hopping online and going to my business. I'm pretty much now in the marketing stage. So these marketing videos, I start marketing around 8 o'clock. Now it's just marketing, 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 marketing. I'm so happy when I get frustrated and I just need to take a break. I get to go out to that. Amsterdam, it's gorgeous here. It is freezing cold, even though it is coming close to the end of February. And I don't even mind. And this Caribbean blooded person, this woman minds. I hate the cold, but I don't mind. I get to just be in this. If you want to get out of the 9 to 5, and the fear is that I don't know how to afford getting out, there are ways. Take a look at Trusted House Sitters. It gives me time and space to work on my own business. I get to choose my own hours. I don't have to sit and work for 8 hours at something that I hate doing. And I can opt to work for 18 hours at something that I love doing. Tell me, come on. You can get out of the 9 to 5. It just depends on what you're willing to give up. For me, giving up hell and unhappiness and depression and anger, I don't really think those are sacrifices. And if I have to call them sacrifices, then I'm happy to sacrifice that. It just depends on what you want to give up and live more minimally until the time comes when that minimalism turns into real blessings. Follow me to see if that happens, Put that in the comments. Let me know if that's happened to you. If you started your own journey and you came off of kibbles, particularly if you did not have a safety net, if you had that financial safety net, you don't understand. You don't understand. You don't know what it is like waking up in fear and worry every single day because you really honestly don't know what's going to happen. Blessings for you, but that's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the ones who have had that. If you somehow got out of it, comment, share the knowledge, share it, put it in the comment sections. I will read them all. I can always take tips. And I just love knowledge sharing in communities and community building. So yeah, till then.